So you can see how the real exams look like. These are old past paper CMA questions. It's more likely that you will find the same questions with different information, but the way to answer will always be the same. When you read a question, first read the last line, that it will tell you that what is the requirement of the examiner. It will save your time, because if you read like this, it will be a newspaper, why you are, with which intentions you are reading it. But if you know that, suppose if it says if job, right, so I know this is job order costing, I should have a concept of that way, DM, DL and overhead, this is I know. So now I can read it more carefully. If job resulted in 7,000 goods sold, the cost of goods sold per unit would be what? So now if he is talking about job, I must have a DM, DL and overhead. So let's find Lucy Sportswear manufactures a specialty line of t-shirts using a job order costing system. Now once we use job order costing system, it is DM, DL and overhead. During March, the following costs are incurred in completing this job. Direct material is 30, I will just put it into the table also, so quickly we can see. In the lecture we saw a job order sheet which was DM, DL and overheads. It's the same, just we put it DM, DL and overhead, whatever you say I will go to do that. He said material is 13,700. Now I need labor is 4,800. Now some information always in a question is excessive. We check your knowledge, do you know what is cost of goods sold? I mean, if he is talking about selling expenses, it has nothing to do with cost of goods sold, because first the cost of goods sold will come, then the operating expenses will start, right? So then he says administrative, no relevance, not because we have to calculate the cost of goods sold. Right?
But one thing, the administrative expenses can be pertaining to this manufacturing administrative.
No, if he says manufacturing administrative, but he don't use what? He use overheads. Okay. Typical language for using, even it is, we do have factory, we do have
administration for the factory.
Yeah, but that is manufacturing overheads.
Yeah.
Generally in all the books of cost accounting, you will never see this kind of terms.
Administrative expenses is always operating expenses.
Operating expenses, okay. Always. Suppose here it is written administrative, we are 200% sure that these are non-manufacturing administrative expenses. And selling is again not relevant, so I will not take it in any, because we need DM, DL and manufacturing overheads. Non-manufacturing overhead has nothing to do with the cost of goods sold. But if we change the question, if I say goods shirts, calculate the cost, total cost, then I have to take all cost. Means this cost also and the other. So it's a little cheeky part. Always be sure about the requirement. Some question you will say calculate total cost. Then manufacturing, non-manufacturing, selling, administrative, everything we have to do. Right? So, question quite logical. Overhead was applied at the rate of $25 per machine hour, and machine hours were 800. So, 800 into 25 will be our overheads. So, now we have DM, we have DL and overheads. Added, this is manufacturing. Cost, how many units he made? 7,000. If you divide the cost with units, it will become per unit cost. So his question, he can ask a lot of questions with the same information. He can ask calculate total cost. So what I have to do is this is manufacturing cost, then add administrative, add selling. Then it will become total cost. If he says calculate total cost per unit, then I have to divide with the units, it will give another per unit cost. So this is related to job order costing. All those students who appeared in this attempt, they faced 1 or 2 questions of job order costing, which is very logical. It starts with DM, DL and overheads. You should just know how to read the information which is relevant. Let's do this question. This is Kepler Optics makes lenses for telescopes, because Kepler will only sell lenses of highest quality. The normal spoilage during a reporting period is 1000 unit. Now what is spoilage, abnormal spoilage? There are two types of spoilage, normal and abnormal. Normal spoilage automatically absorbed in cost of goods sold, no need to do anything. Abnormal spoilage we have to take into consideration as an expense. This is the concept. He says that the highest quality normal spoilage is 1000, and beginning of the current reporting period he had 2200 units in inventory. So I will start working. You have 2002 units in beginning work in progress. Then during the period production was started and completed 4000 units, so it is added into, and obviously at the end of the period you have 1500 has to be deducted, and you transfer 3000 means you make more, you transfer out of that 3000, right? So we have to deduct this. Now it will give the total spoilage of the period. Normal spoilage is 1000, so 1700 minus 1000 is 700 is abnormal spoilage, right? This is what he asked, that what is the abnormal spoilage. If he asks normal spoilage, that is 1000, and the other way it is this way. 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐿, old snapping turtle, a sporting good manufacturer by world, as a direct material for the baseball bats. The forming department processes the baseball bats, and the bats are then transferred to the finishing department, where a silk is applied. The following department began manufacturing 10,000 kg sluggers during the months of the May. There was no beginning inventory. Right, look this one. There is no beginning inventory.
Yeah.
So if it is the case, then zero, where it is 40%. If we are talking about equivalent unit, there is no beginning inventory, so no problem.
So both of them are equal?
Both are equal, right? Because nothing was left last year to be completed. Weighted average take 100% automatically, and beginning and closing is dependent on last year completion. Okay. He says cost for forming department for the month of May were as follows. DM is given, conversion cost is given. Conversion cost is equal to DL plus overheads, right? This is the most important thing. He says a total of 8,000 bats were completed. This is and transferred to the finishing department. So it means this is finish out 8,000, and because there is no beginning, 8,000 is finished and transferred, right? So the remaining 2,000 bats were still in the forming process at the end of the month. That is the carried down of here. And all of the forming departments direct material were placed in process, but on average only 25% of the conversion cost was applied to the ending work in progress. So this is the carried down 25%, right? In process costing question, what we need an opening, we have a closing. If it is weighted average, we know this is 100% completed last year, so no worries. But in first out, we have to see what is the stage of completion this year and last year. He says cost of unit transfer, he's talking about cost. First of all, we should know what is the cost per unit, and then we should know what is the unit transfer. Okay, so the cost of material is 10,000, which is given in the question, and how many is completed? 8,000. 8,000 completed and transferred. Right, so this is completed. There is no beginning, so that's why I didn't put. Otherwise, it's a state format brought downs during the year and the carried down. So for carried down, he says ending work in progress, 2,000 left in the inventory, and 25% has to be added always, right? This is what he here said, right? So what we did is we add 500 conversion cost. Now this is total is 8,500. If you divide by this, it will become your material price, right? And conversion per price will be that way, it's 2. So your total cost is 5.3, right? This is the cost of, these are the conversion cost units means units, because we need unit and the cost itself. Cost per unit we calculate. For material this is 3.3, for conversion this is 2,